Hi, Pietro. So I'm going to make you co-host so you can share your screen.
Perfect. Thank you, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, say that again? Sapphire, but she already left for the day.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah, correct.
I think I can see it now. First, I couldn't see my participants, so I was going to ask you to stop the share until the participants came on board, but I think I'm good now.
Oh, you are good?
I think so, yes.
All
And
right.
just a gentle reminder that I bring the live stream up ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
My computer keeps freezing. I just think it's on my nerves so bad. Things out of order. Oh, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's it going?
So far, so good.
Okay. You all had a long night last night?
Yup. A long, riveting night. City benefiting legislation.
Yes, I was hoping to participate last night, but then I was asked to be on a panel, which happened the same time as the budget meeting, so I missed it.
Gotcha.
So when we get to that portion, I'm going to refer to the memo that you sent with all of the ordinances and resolutions, and I'll just read the titles.
Okay.
Excellent. Good. How are you doing?
Hello, Kashana. Hello, Randy. Oh, we have quite a few people, Bridget.
Hello.
Hello. Council President Alice.
Are you ready for the holidays?
Yes. Yeah. I think we all can use some holiday
Me too.
We need holiday cheer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Remember, only 10 people at your personal get-togethers.
We'll have 3. So that's the extent of it here.
I'm guaranteed to have at least 3. My 2 grandbabies got to be there. I don't care if anybody else is.
Yeah, the Three Musketeers will be here.
Yes, ma'am.
So just a gentle reminder that we are currently live streaming. Once Dr. Pliers is ready to start the meeting, I'll start the recording.
Okay, I'm looking to see if we have all of our people. Looks like we're missing Darius,
And Marisa, I believe.
Lisa, and someone from budget.
Darius is joining us. I think we're still looking for someone from budget and Corp Counsel.
Yes, that's what it appears. All right, I see Council President Ellis has his mask on. Let's see.
I just sent Marisa resent Marisa the credentials.
Okay, and it looks like we can get started. We have Nick here from budget. Hi, Nick.
Hey, how's everyone?
Good. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. All right, so good afternoon and welcome to today's Board of Estimate and Apportionment meeting. My name is Dr. Dorcia Pliers, Chief City Auditor in the City of Albany. Today's date is November 17th, Tuesday, November 17th, and the time is now 1:32 p.m. Joining us, we have City Treasurer Darius Shanfar. We have representing the Budget Office, Nick, and why am I blanking on your last name, Nick?
Blaze.
And I know that. Nick Blaze from Budget. We also have Marisa Franchini, our lead attorney for the city, and we have our council president, Corey Ellis. From my office, we have our deputy chief city auditor, Petros Ala. And we'll jump right in to the agenda. Okay, so in terms of budget transfers for today, we have a transfer request from the budget department. This is a transfer request in the amount of $80,000, which would be a transfer from 2 separate accounts, the contracted services elections account in the amount of $58,000 and the contracted services computer and tech account in the amount of $22,000. These funds will be transferred to the professional audit line within my budget, within the Office of Audit and Control, to cover the cost of there's 2 professional audits that are currently being conducted. So this transfer will offset the cost of one of those professional audits. Any questions there?
Dorsey, do we have a final cost on the police audit?
Yes, off top, $79,500.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The next request is from the police department, a request in the amount of $2,000 being transferred from the miscellaneous account to their training and conferences account to cover online training opportunities. And we do have Bridget available. Are there any questions? The next request is from Law. The transfer request is in the amount of $5,500, $2,500 coming from the contracted services account and $3,000 coming from the expense of litigation account, transferred to the fees and services account to cover cost of the remaining invoices. And I'm assuming this is for this fiscal year. Marisa.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, just clarifying. So the current request is to cover costs of remaining invoices for this fiscal year?
Yes, and these are internal transfers just from other accounts.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Marisa? All right, moving on to increase in appropriation request. The first request is from Buildings and Regulatory Compliance. They are, it's noted here, an increase in revenue in the amount of $33,187 with the understanding that there will be an increase in expenses in the same amount for monies needed to pay for outstanding emergency stabilization at two properties. The first is on 3rd Street, and this is, let's see. So the first one is emergency stabilization on 3rd, that's 705 3rd Street in Albany. And the second is for an emergency board up in which DGS had to contract out for, and that's at 622 Park Avenue. Okay, the next, if you can scroll up, is a increase in apportionment request from the police department. The department has received another grant in the amount of $24,900. And as a result, there will be associated expenses for that amount. This grant is from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services in order to enhance the department's response to the needs of the community through the acquisition of live scan equipment. It is my understanding that this equipment allows the department to be able to apply fingerprints to multiple forms digitally. Bridget, is there anything else that needs to be added? All right. Any questions? The next, we have our legal settlements. We have quite a few here. And if you could scroll up and enlarge. I'm going to need glasses before it's all over. Okay. So the first legal settlement is settlements of claims for Clarence Delaney Jr. arising from alleged damages. Let's see, alleged in notice of claim action as a result of, as a result thereof, said settlement being resolved with no finding of admission of liability. This claim is in the amount of $500. I'm going to go through all of them, and then if there are specific questions that you all have, Marisa is here, and or Marisa, if there are specific details you want to highlight for any of these, you can at that time. The second settlement is related to a claim for Dan Egan. That claim is in the amount of $431. The next is a claim for Judith Curry in the amount of $4,250. And then lastly, Cheryl Hawkins, a claim in the amount of a settlement in the amount of $14,000. Marisa, would you care to add to any details on these specific settlement claims?
Not unless anyone has any questions. That what's in here kind of speaks for itself. One is some attorney fees and one is some damages.
Any questions for Marisa? Okay. All right, so then we're going to transition to the end of.
Yeah, sorry, Dorsey. I just had a quick question. I was on mute. Sorry.
It's okay.
Is attorney fees in that one about the foil? Is that what that's why the amount is that? Because it's attorney fees?
Yes, it's attorney's fees.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Our last order of business would be the Common Council resolutions and ordinances. There are quite a few here. And if you can scroll down to the memo sent by Danielle, I'll try to go through them as quickly as possible. The council had a busy night last night. And we have Council President Ellis here who can chime in at any point. Okay, so the first we have local law K, a local law amending chapter 313, solid waste of part 2 of the Code of the City of Albany in relation to billing of the fee for curbside collection of waste. The second is ordinance number 168220, an ordinance of the Common Council authorizing the sale to William Chapman of a city-owned vacant lot at 109 3rd Street. The next is ordinance 22-10120, an ordinance of the Common Council authorizing the sale to Thomas Lacey of city-owned land at 47 1st Street. The next is ordinance number 25-10120, an ordinance of the Common Council authorizing the sale to Danielle Kettleso of city-owned land at 2 Genesee Street. The next is ordinance 26-10220, an ordinance authorizing and directing the grant to General Distillation LLC of an easement in the city of Albany over a portion of the city right-of-way of Livingston Avenue for the construction and maintenance of an ADA compliant ramp. The next is ordinance number 27-10220, an ordinance adopting the budget as represented by the mayor as presented by the mayor on October 1st, 2020. The next is ordinance number 28-10220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $4.2 million and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that said amount of said city to pay the cost thereof. The next is an ordinance, and that's ordinance number 29-10220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $392,000 and authorize the lease financing for the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. The next, if you can scroll up, please. Thank you. Is also an ordinance number 30-10220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $285,000 and authorizing the lease financing of the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. And this is pertaining to Parks and Recreation. Okay, So the next is also an ordinance 31102.20, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of, let's see, $1,050,000, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. This is on behalf of the fire department for fire apparatus. The next is ordinance number 3210220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $350,000, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of $350,000 serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. This is on behalf of traffic and engineering pertaining to the Lincoln Park intersections. The next is ordinance number 3310220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $564,000, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. This is on behalf of APD for a surveillance system. And then lastly, ordinance number 3410220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $350,000, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. This is for the on behalf of the planning department for the South End Connector Phase 2 initiative. And I think that is that the last one, or we have more? Okay. The next is ordinance 3510220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $255,000, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. Again, on behalf of the planning department for the Hudson River Waterfront Gateway. The next is ordinance number 410220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $2.8 million, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that amount, roughly $2.8 million, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof. This was on behalf of engineering for renovations to city buildings. The next is ordinance number 41010220, an ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the city of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $1.9 million, and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of that amount, serial bonds of said city to pay the cost thereof on behalf of engineering regarding the Lincoln Park project. And then we're transitioning to resolutions. I believe these are the final pieces of legislation. Resolution 110-11220R, a resolution of the Common Council consenting to an adjustment in salary for certain positions for the 2021 budget. And resolution 99-10220, a resolution of the Common Council establishing a capital reserve fund to be known as the Information Technology Equipment Fund. Of course, there's one more. A resolution, also resolution number 1031120, a resolution of the Common Council consenting to the creation of 5 full-time positions which will affect salary totals for the 2020 budget. This is pertaining to housing and community development. Okay, I do believe that was the last one.
I just have one question. It's probably for Danielle. I think a bond authorization was passed last night for $300,000 for Brownfield, and I think that's being pulled back to amend. So that was not on this list.
That was not on this particular memorandum. Proactively, we took it off because we knew they would come back for additional consideration, given the inconsistency in the amount read versus the amount it came out of committee with.
So we'll see you again in 3 weeks.
Yes.
So it didn't pass.
It passed, but it has to be reconsidered because there is a discrepancy. Initially, the ordinance was for 300,000, but when it went to the finance committee upon investigation and discussion, the amount was changed to 133,500,
Okay.
or in that ballpark.
Okay.
They're amending it for next time, next
Okay.
meeting.
No problem at all. Council President, is there anything you would like to add?
Nope, it's all good.
All
Thank
right. You're welcome. Okay, so that concludes the agenda. Are there any specific questions pertaining to the agenda? May I request a motion to approve the agenda as is?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Darius, City Treasurer. Second, I believe the first one came from Council President Ellis. All right. Motion passes. Agenda is approved. And then may I have a motion to conclude our meeting?
So moved.
So moved by City Treasurer Darius Shawnfar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Marisa, seconded by Marisa Franchini, our lead attorney. Okay, so that concludes our meeting, Board of Estimate and Apportionment meeting. Thank you all so much for your participation, and I'm going to transfer to our colleagues in the clerk's office.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order meeting of Board of Contract and Supply. Today's date is Tuesday, November 17, 2020. Present, we have Nick Blaze, Darius Scheinfar, Marisa Franchini, Randy Milano, and I'm not sure if Frank is in.
I'm here.
Frank here.
Frank is here. Frank is here.
Frank Zioli. Gotcha. Thank you, Frank.
Yep.
First item of business, Mr. Milano offered the following. Resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for City of Albany procurement of Lincoln Square pedestrian and basketball court lights. Set proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. The following was offered on behalf of the Albany Water Board. I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 resolutions offered on behalf of the Water Board. Resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for the purchase of sodium hypochlorite. Set proposals to be received by a board regular meeting to be held Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 1:30. Directed and advertised for bids for purchase of waterless fire hydrants. Said proposal to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020 at 1:30. Secretary authorized and directed to advertise for sewage pump station inspections and emergency repairs. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 at 1:30. And secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for water and water supplies, pipes, coupling, clamps, etc. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. We have a bid opening for fence construction, repairs, and supply services for DGS. We received one bid submission from Spital. Is it Spitali or Spital Construction Resources? Get this open. Got it. There was no bid deposit required for this project. Let's see if there's a total.
No, there wasn't.
Right. There was no total base bid, but there was a list of different vent heights installed and prices per linear foot that I would include with our final agenda. We also, for repairs and parts, they have normal field labor rate for $61.61 per hour. Emergency field labor rate is $150 per hour. Discounts on parts from retail, there were none. Okay. All right, next is the Department of General Services has offered the following. Resolved that the bid of the following named bidder be accepted and the contract awarded to them for golf cart lease to SAT Sales Inc. We have a couple change orders and extensions. So Mr. Milano offered the following. Resolve that an increase in the amount of $150,118.21 for change order number 1 be made to contract number 9082. The new contract value will be $3,388,226.38. For that increase of 108 days be made to the final completion date. The new completion date is November 30th, 2020 for street resurfacing and sidewalk reconstruction project, year 2020, contract 1 with Newcastle Paving. Mr. Milano offered the following. We resolve that in accordance with the existing contract provisions for contract number 8992, that the following contract be extended for 1 year with the new contract completion date being December 31st, 2021 for the maintenance contract for elevator repairs to various city-owned buildings with Albany Elevator, Inc. Also, Mr. Milano offered, resolve that in accordance with the existing contract provisions, city contract 8990, that the following named contract be extended for 1 year. The new contract completion date would be December 31st, 2021 for the maintenance contracts for locksmith services for various city-owned buildings with Center for Security. Mr. Milano and the new contract completion date will be December 31st, 2021 for the maintenance contract for overhead door repairs to various city-owned buildings with all type professional door services. And our final item, this was offered from Bill Trudeau. Resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for New Scotland Ave roadway striping improvements. Said proposal were received by the board is rejected. Bids to be rejected. I apologize. Said proposals were received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, 1:30. The reason for 2 bids were received on October 20th, 2020. Both were over the and fund appropriation. New bid documents will be developed to fit within appropriation. This new project will be introduced at a future scheduled meeting of the Board of Contract and Supply. That concludes the agenda for the Board of Contract and Supply. Is there any discussion or questions? May I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
was that Randy?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is accepted. Motion is approved. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Well, moved, everyone. Thank you for today. I'll get final agenda out soon. Enjoy your
Great.
day.
Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Pleers, you got a quick second?